The views and opinions expressed in Media Litter Sandwich do not reflect on the views of the network, station, studio, website, sponsors, guests, hosts themselves, anyone or anything else associated or even not associated with this podcast. Maybe not even the person that said them. In other words, do your own research and do not sue anyone over what is said on this show.
So I'm at the mall, and this guy's wearing a hockey helmet asking about what I'm carrying. I don't know what to say to him.
Prepare to be offended.
Welcome to Media Litter Sandwich. I'm Toaden from Toaden.com, and you're listening on, I don't know, YouTube, Spotify, Podknife, Podbean, Stitcher, the Apple thing, the Google thing, the TuneIn thing, the I don't know thing. But if you want to be the first person to listen, if you want to catch the brand new show as soon as it comes out, we stream on DV Radio Tuesday nights at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time Zone. And I'm in the chat room. So if you want to listen to it as soon as you can, that's when the new episodes come out. And then the podcast comes out the following Monday. Today, I'm here with Whatever Talk. You know, whatever, man.
Whatever.
Whatever.
How you doing, man? It's been a long while since I was a guest on your show.
Do you prefer Donnie, that one dude? Wait for, don't call me late for dinner.
Donnie's fine.
Donnie. So I put out a thing on Facebook. Terms, if you listen to the show, I'm kind of a stickler for terms because words are hard. Words are very hard. Communication is hard. I know on this podcast, Media Litter Sandwich, I like to focus on a creator side, but no matter what you're doing, communication, it gets tough, especially, talking to your client, talking to an organizer. There's a lot of things going on. You don't want to get lost. You have to use the right words. And social media, there's so many fights. Definitions make it hard, and I've seen so many fights over definitions. I've lost friends over definitions, which is. But then again, I've also lost friends over saying no, it's okay to say hi to someone while they're wearing headphones. You can wave to them. It's okay. Some people found that offensive. Okay.
Wow, the sensitivity of people.
And I found talking about vocabulary words being one of the most offensive things. Like I've talked to people here that I do not share any political beliefs with, or mostly no political. That's fine. This is not a political show. It's not. So we're talking about communication, and this was a topic I thought that some people may get offended if I brought them in here. So I'm really glad you volunteered because I was like, who can talk about this? And be open-minded and tell me who can spill the tea on the wokeness of these words. And, I might be a little off. I didn't drink enough coffee, so I'm not that woke right now. But we, talk about some of these meaning words. I brought a list of words I'd like to discuss. I also, for the Toaden Read section, I found a couple other lists, and I know you brought some words as well.
Yeah, I got a few words.
Okay. The first one I do want. First, I'm going to ask you if you know what this means, and then I'll explain it because not everyone knows what spill the tea is. Because every time I bring something up, I was like, well, are you aware what spill the tea means? Because that's what all the kids are saying now.
I never heard the term before.
Spreading gossip. That's all it is. What's a gossip?
I was literally about to say that. I was about to say, is it like giving some type of information or something?
Yeah. I don't know where it comes from. Don't care.
Yeah. Some kids did it, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Spilled the tea.
Okay. So whatever talk, you guys talk about whatever.
Yeah, we talk about whatever it is. Like, I do have an agenda, but because something has to be some type of structure. But we kind of derive from the agenda really every show. But I just get a list of things. A list of topics to talk about, or just freestyle it. And we talk about the current events. We talk about old events, and we talk about like, hey man, that's just reminiscing. Basically, it's
and you're
literally-
very open.
And
You're very open. You're not like this show where like, I don't really want to offend anyone. I'm going to keep, but my target is this. Your target is anyone that wants to listen to. If you offend someone, you're stating your opinion. That's part of your show.
Exactly. Me personally, I don't care about offending anybody. Just because you're so.
I want to help people.
Yeah,
that's what. It's hard to help people when you're insulting them at the same time.
But the thing about it, this is what I find when you are insulting people or unintentionally is that they don't even understand why they're being insulted.
Right. There's a difference between intentional and unintentional.
Exactly.
It's very easy to insult somebody unintentional. If you feel insulted and that person did it unintentionally, you have to ask yourself, we've all been in this thing. I'm not talking about anything, we've all felt that way. We don't know why we're insulted, but we're insulted. You have to think about that and figure out why. And that's how you become better at communication. That's how you become a better person.
Yep.
Because you're like, okay, that is a sore spot for me. Or, oh, when they said this, somehow in my mind, I translated it. It's not an always them problem. Sometimes it's a you problem. We've all been there. It's okay.
Yep. And can I say something about that?
Yeah,
Is that,
please.
The whole, how we say it, like people don't even understand why they're offended. They just think they should be offended, like so they be offended. So I'm like, well, that's not a reason to be offended. But like me, I said it before, I think, but I used to say, well, nothing offends me because nothing really does offend me. And then people get offended when I say nothing offends me. Yeah, and I'm like,
well, how do we get to your level?
I don't know. Just don't care about people, what they got to say. Not don't care about people. Don't care.
I would like to have a bonus round where or maybe one day if we're doing this live where we have, let's try to offend Donnie.
Yeah, I guarantee you it'd be extremely hard to offend me because one, this is...
Oh, God, I got to talk. A friend of mine, Father Tony, we used to talk to him on Google Talk and everything like that. We used to have let's see if we can embarrass Father Tony because he was a youth minister and all this stuff. And he used to hang out with me and friends on Google Chat. None of us were there to talk about religion. He wasn't there to talk about religion. We're talking about tech and editing and videography and stuff like that. But if we're bored and we had random, started inviting other friends and we're just, kicking it while we're editing and stuff like that, we would have, let's try to offend Father Tony game. Very hard to offend him. I would love to have, let's see who gets offended. We have Donnie, we have Father Tony, and then we have someone that easily gets offended.
All right. Just saying, like, everybody I come across gets offended in a manner I feel that, why are you offended? Because I'm not offended. Like, this is what people said to me, like, maybe you too stupid to realize you're being offended. I mean, they're saying something about you wrong. I'm like, no, I understand it. But I'm like, well, that's not me, though. So why would I get offended? Because me going off.
Well, if I went on a 10-minute tangent of why Dragon Ball Z is the worst anime of all time,
would not get offended. And that is my...
You would have a lesser opinion of me, maybe.
No, I would just feel like, because I talked to first of all, Dragon Ball Z is my all-time favorite anime.
So I was trying to stick the needle.
Yeah, but I wouldn't get offended because, one, I know you don't even watch Dragon Ball Z like that, so why would I get offended?
I love Dragon Ball Z.
No,
all the way up to Cell, which was terrible.
But people, I have talked to so many people about Dragon Ball Z, and then they start talking to me, and they be like, well, I'm like, but that didn't happen though. Like, I have the series. I literally watch the whole entire series at least once a year.
Okay.
The whole series once a year. And I'm like, well,
now that we have a good director's cut, let's go ahead and try to get on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are words you brought for me?
I have this one word that people gets offended on all the time, no matter how you use it.
Okay.
And
You tell me the word. I'm going to tell you what I think the definition is.
all right.
And then you can tell me what the definition really is. By the
like
way, the video version is different than the audio version. And for the video version, if you're watching, we do have our computers open. Just because we both have a lot of stickers doesn't mean that we're being sponsored by any of those, because we are not. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I didn't even see what stickers you have, but I do have companies on mine, so I'm still saying that. And I will also say, if you're using Amazon to buy things, use Smiled on Amazon. Our charity of choice, or at least my charity of choice right now, is DV Farm. It's a great charity. Go ahead and look it up. There you go. Bo, be happy. So what's a word you have? And we're not going through genders. We're not going through sexual. We're talking about things that you may find yourself reading on Facebook in a common discourse. Maybe it's something that you're maybe it's an event you're going to and someone brings it up.
And
I don't know.
And somebody said something that was just straight stupid because they didn't know the meaning of the word they were using. But I got one that this is like, I want to say maybe 10 years ago.
Okay. So it's out of date.
That could be it because I'm gonna get
Well,
to
what
that.
is that?
The word cult. Now my auntie got on me because I used to be a Mormon.
Okay.
Not anymore. But she got mad at me. It was like, well, why are you talking to Mormons, or why are you trying to be basically a Mormon? You know that's a cult, right? So when she said
Cult, C-O-A-T?
cult,
Cult, C-U-L-T.
Sorry about
Cult.
my pronunciation.
I heard coat. I'm like, what's wrong with my jacket?
No, not coat. Cult.
Cult. Okay.
Cult. C-U-L-T.
Okay. So my definition of a cult is a religious or fanatic belief in which you cannot freely leave upon your own will. Easily leave. So that's my definition. So if you are part of a religion that if you left, they are going to say things about you or come after you financially, that's probably a cult.
Well, that's probably some terms and obligations within the cult, but it's similar. Basically, the definition: a system of religious devoted towards a particular figure or object.
Okay.
Basically.
Yep. A system religious of, I can't say that word, veneration and devotion directed towards a particular figure or object. But that could mean anything.
Exactly.
That could be anything. That could be a fan base. That could be a religion that's not considered a cult. That's very opinionated. That's opinionated.
Yeah, and that's when my auntie told me that. That's when I looked up the word then, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm reading it. I'm like, well, technically, everybody's is in a cult because it's a small group that believes in the same thing, pretty much.
But then you could say, like, well, Scientology, which their building is just down the street over there, one of their buildings or Detroit buildings is down the street. You could say, well, then they're not a cult because they're not a small religion. Christianity is not a cult because they're not a small group of people. However, that is one of the definitions. I'm looking at Google right now in dictionary. There are several different ways, and a relatively small group is one of the definitions. The other one is the basic one is a system of religion. That's number one. The small group of people having religious beliefs of practices regarded as others as strange or sinister, which is all opinionated.
It's all opinionated.
And then third is misplaced or excessive admiration for a particular person or thing. Oh, hail this glass of water. Water brings a life.
So the Comic-Con, you're going to, when is it again? Is it next week or 2 weeks from now?
It's August 16th that weekend.
Okay, that's a cult.
Right down the street of our beautiful podcast studio that we recorded, which is Foundation Studio at Foundation Hotel. They are fabulous here.
Awesome. But that's a cult.
Again, not a sponsor.
That's a cult.
No, the hotel's not a cult.
No, the Comic-Con itself is a group of people getting together with the same thing.
Yeah, and I can see how that could offend people.
Yeah.
If you like all you anime people, that is, and you know, in downtown Detroit, there was a person going around with his megaphone. He was calling everyone that is devoted to their work, saying, "You are on the wrong side of religion. You are going down south, and I will tell you why." And just goes on about corporate nature, comparing corporate nature, or at least going to a job and devoting yourself to, you know, making a living, a cult. I guess it's personal opinion. I don't agree with that, but okay.
Well, isn't everything a personal opinion though?
Yeah.
Every single thing, in my opinion, is an opinion.
Yeah, you got another one for me?
All right, I'll make this real quick. It said, according with the small group having the the same beliefs, it also says practice regarding other as strange. Basically, the cult is saying society views cults as strange and sinister. Yeah, it says, I'm going to read the whole thing. A relatively small group of people having religious beliefs or practices regarded by others as strange and sinister. That portion wasn't there back in the day when I researched it.
Okay.
And when I looked it up today,
definitions can change with time.
Oh yeah, I understand that, but that right there, to me, back then they viewed them as the same thing as this is saying now, and why that wasn't there back then.
Religions have a lot of money, and they probably influence somebody.
Oh, of course.
Who knows which one?
That's what cults do.
I have my idea of which ones, but I'm who knows?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go through some of my list here. I want to kind of start hitting these a little bit faster.
Cool.
So the first one, let's talk about woke, because we already used that word. Everyone uses woke. What does woke mean?
Woke is basically. I'm trying to. What's the best?
Well, I keep drinking coffee, but apparently I'm still not woke enough.
Well, no, the way that you're using the term.
But besides Misty, who did the warning before this, the advisory little warning before the podcast, she informed me today that she hates the word woke because it's grammatically terrible. You cannot use woke in a sentence the way it's used and sound intelligent, because grammatically it's not supposed to be that way.
But and I don't know about that, but I don't really care about the term, the phrase woke. Woke myself.
Yeah. Well, woke is awake. So if you're like, oh, I'm not awake yet, that's probably I'm not woke yet.
Well, basically what they're saying is basically you walking around the world with your eyes closed. It's saying that you're not seeing the obvious of what's going on in the world. Basically, your eyes, you're sleeping. You're sleeping on everything that's happening in the world. You're sleeping on it. And when they say, bruh, you got to wake up. You got to stay woke. Basically, they're saying, look out here. You mean to tell me you don't see this racism right here? You mean to tell me you don't see the prejudice right here? You mean to tell me you don't see that? It's literally going on as I'm speaking right now, right outside this window. And you don't see that. Stay woke, bruh. That's how it's used.
Yep. I went ahead and just looked at a couple of different things. It's simply put, woke is a slang for social awareness. It started with the African American community. I don't know if that's the correct term anymore. Who cares? And became tied with the Black Lives Matter movement. Although I've heard it plenty of other places before then, and plenty after.
Yep.
And whatever. I stay woke and da 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 da. You have to be this level of woke to be able to work this convention now. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just me personally. I just don't care about the phrase woke.
Yeah, but because that's always a part, I want to put that in there. Of course, SJWs, we already know what that means. Social justice warriors, and then one more obvious one I want to put in here, which I'm surprised it's not right in here. It is inclusion. I want to say, or inclusive.
Inclusive.
Yeah. Inclusive.
Yeah, look up the
yes,
word
inclusive.
I'm about to say, why would inclusive be there? But what's the other definitions of inclusive?
Inclusive event. Yeah, inclusive. Yeah, that's probably the most used definition I hear. Yeah. Do you know what inclusive? Do you know in which definition and what I mean by when I say inclusive?
Yeah, I know what inclusive means, but using it for this, it got to be a different definition for it to be used like this.
So inclusive is the opposite of exclusive or discriminatory. To be inclusive means to take pains not to exclude marginalized groups, whether it's by advocating for captions in cinemas or deaf or anything. It basically means you are trying to make something open to everyone. So and people take this to extremes. Now I totally understand.
Okay.
But so when they put out handicap ramps, like, well, it has to be inclusive, meaning they could it's open to them, or captions the movie theater inclusive, and it is taken to very, very extreme levels. Of course there's the other definitions. One definition is basically providing things that you expect to be provided for. So you expect there to be a bathroom for you to use. So some people take inclusive to that level where if you are non-gender, or you are a different, or you or if you identify as a gender other than what you're assigned at birth. Wow, that's a mouthful. You can go to the bathroom and you have a bathroom you can use. And different places do this differently, but that's basically what they mean by inclusive. I think that term is redundant, and more events I go to, and I'll expand on this in a future podcast talking about events. But more and more events I'm going to, people actually try not to use that word anymore, because a lot of events that use that term inclusive, people just substitute the word exclusive because they're so like, this is so open, they end up being exclusive to other people because it just turns into a big political mess. Yeah, it's not saying everything's like that, but
yeah.
Lately, when people say inclusive, it's code word, meaning if you're not being discriminated against, you're going to be discriminated against here. And I'll get into that more later. That's a totally different. That one really bugs a lot of people, so I wanted to bring that one up.
Not me.
Soon.
It doesn't bug me, but I get the word is inclusive being used for woke. I get it now. Okay.
Yep.
I still don't care about woke though.
Anarchist. What does anarchist mean?
Anarchist. You know what? I'm not about to sit here and act like I think I may know. I used to know. I just can't remember. I rarely use the word, so I don't know.
Oh, come on. You're supposed to be the person telling me what in the world of wokeness, what anarchist, because I hear that term misused all the time.
Just a huge devastation everywhere.
The dictionary term is a person who believes in or tries to bring about anarchy. That's the easy one.
Devastation.
Yeah.
So I was right.
Yeah. And of course, anarchy is also a government system without rule.
Yes, I heard of that.
It's very often, anarchy is to get rid of a government. So in that. It's anti-authoritarian. Here's political philosophy. Anarchism is anti-authoritarian political philosophy that rejects hierarchies deemed unjust and advocates their replacement with self-managed, self-government societies, which based on voluntary and cooperative institutions. The thing that I'm hearing that is against that, let me look at one of these woke lists and put in.
Basically, it's overtaking the government.
Yes. But it's also replacing the government with a self-governed system voluntarily. Anarchist, let me go ahead and anarchist woke. Maybe that will come up with them.
So, anarchist, real quick. I know it's a side note, but does the title for the TV series, I never watched the show myself.
Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah, does that go with the series then, using that word in the title?
It's the name of the motorcycle group. Sons of Anarchy.
Okay.
So basically, that it's the title of the motorcycle group. So
okay.
basically,
I never seen the show. I was just wondering.
Okay. So the way I understand it, because I can't find a good definition, but I get told a lot, these people are anarchists. So I listen to them, and they're advocating for a socialist government. By the very definition of anarchist, now they're, of course they want to get rid of the current government, but they want to replace it with a strong government that looks into your private life more. I don't care what again, not a political show, but socialism. In order to bring about socialism, the government does have a look at your pay. It does have a look at your private life, especially when you're looking at getting rid of amendments and certain protections we currently have to keep government out of our private lives. Not saying if they all work. I'm not going into that, but that is not That is not anarchism. That is not anarchy.
I would agree with you according to the definition, but I would say to the people who are about what was just stated about the government, it's okay. I mean, it's not okay for the government.
They say it as taking an unjust and replacing it with just. But the part that that the disagreements comes in is, are they replacing it with an anarchist government, meaning no ruling class, or a class government? And a lot of the people that call themselves this now want a class-ran government, want the government to be able to put, even if that puts everyone in the same class, they want that. They want a strong central government.
That's what equality is.
Well, then we talk about equality versus equity. And
okay, but not exactly what equality is. Yeah, but again, yeah.
But that's another term. That's another term. But let's get. So I'm gonna get through the ones that I brought up, and then I'll bring up Toaden reads. Period, spelled PERIODT. This is when I'm starting to see a lot more.
I never knew that had a T at the end of it.
It doesn't.
So the T is silent?
Not when it's used this way.
So so it's period.
Yeah.
I never heard.
Good. You shouldn't have to. You're old like me. You have to accept that you're getting old like me.
Oh no, I don't. Wait a minute. Oh, this is a new term?
Yeah, it's newer.
Go.
So I'm going to look up Urban Dictionary. Some dumb thing exploited, deleted. People say. To prove your point. In the slang.
I know exactly what it is now. When you said the first thing, or just babbling out the first thing, I was like, wait a minute.
That's how it is. That's how it is.
That's my
period.
Mama. Look, and that's exactly all I'm gonna say. Period. That's what it is. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
People actually write this on Facebook, and I've seen it in articles. I've seen it. People that want to be taken seriously as reporters. Hi, guy. I love this big window.
Yeah, me too.
Be taken seriously as reporters are saying it.
Yeah. So when you were saying it at first, I'm like, that's not a real word. I never knew. But this whole time of me growing up in life, I now I've been experiencing period my whole life because I get in trouble.
The way I separate it is, and I even saw the definition say that it's a new turn on a old slang. Period was what the older generation say. Period is what the newer generation say when they don't have a good point, when they are ending the thing. Because it used to be like tax, explain taxation, it's like, and that's what taxes are, period. And then now people will be like, and that is how you wear your shoelaces, period. They're like, well, I wear my shoelaces like this. Nope, period. We're done. Okay, that's the way it's being used.
Yeah, and you're right. That's the way it's being used, but it's basically a expression.
It's an expression for an argument ender. That's what it is.
I'm not agreeing with this new term definition for it because it's basically an expression.
Well, it's a new word, so it's okay.
People, this freaking young generation.
So. See, you're supposed to be teaching me, man.
No, I like I said, I knew that word. I just didn't. I didn't never know the spelling of it.
Okay.
But like I said, I experienced it my whole life. Basically, that word right there is kind of like how people would say how black people pronunciate their words, like how we say.
That's probably how it started. Yeah.
That's exactly that's the origin of it. I'm not saying that for sure. I'm just saying.
Urban Dictionary says, keep in mind this is Urban Dictionary, who knows? It said it originated South Florida.
So basically, it's just the way the person pronounces their word. They're saying period, but it's just the way they pronounce it. It comes out as period. You know what I'm saying?
They have to one up their grandfathers.
Yeah, it's kind of like how, again, they use this for black people's dialogue. It's like how we use, how we just take the ER away and put the A at the end of it. How we pronounce. Like, here's a good one, a good example. My name, my so-called stage name, Young Twist. It's pronounced Young Twist, but I'm spelling it the way black people say the word young and the word twist. You don't hear the T at the end of twist when black people say twist. And you don't hear the G at the end of the word young when you say young. So young twist.
So is it February or February?
The way we pronounce the words. And that's all I'm gonna say. Like I said earlier, don't get offended easily or something like that. Prepare to be offended. That's what I said earlier.
Okay, so now we're going to get into terms that I'm seeing used in more and more groups at events, people being offended. So we're just going to pretty much say what it means and move on a little bit.
So they won't get offended for real.
Okay. and a lot of the terms, I've heard them growing up and they meant something completely different. Okay, so if I say turf to you, what do you think I'm talking about? Turf.
This is my area.
This is your area.
This is my area. Stay off my turf, chump.
And I always think of the old of the Warriors movie, like we're all what we fight for, our turf, our piece of land, our dirt, our turf.
But isn't that what it is for real though? Turf.
So today there is an acronym that TERF. It stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminist.
The word feminist.
Go ahead, say that again. Trans exclusionary radical feminist. So what? Let me pull up the fuller definition so I don't mess this up. It's coined in 2008. What? I only heard this a few months ago. And the term is applied for a minority of feminists who espouse transphobic sentiments, including opposition to transgender rights and the inclusion of trans women in women's spaces. To reject, basically, what it means is feminists that don't include transgender in their rhetoric.
Well, isn't that kind of like going against what feminist is?
Yeah, but feminist supposed to mean equality. But the term turf is often used as an insult. Like J.K. Rowling was recently called a turf because of her stance that transsexuals that still have their assigned gender, shouldn't be in jail. If they're in jail, they shouldn't be with the sex of the other assigned gender unless they had a surgery.
Nah, BS.
Well, I'm just saying.
But no, I hear what you're saying.
People would use that term. So if a feminist doesn't include transgender people in their rhetoric, they are called TERF.
Well, that's because feminist is a cult.
What they call it? Third wave feminists aren't real feminists. That's a whole other thing. I'm not being political. That's
that's being actual, not political. Actual.
If the current wave of feminists were a quick difference. Equity is everyone being treated everyone getting the same outcome. Changing things so everyone has the same outcome is kind of what we look at equity in the terms of social things. There's a great graphic of this of a tall guy, medium height guy, and a little kid. Equality would be everyone gets a crate to stand and look over a fence. Everyone has that one crate. The tall guy could see over it. The middle guy can see over it. The little kid's still too short to see over it. Equity is distribution, so everyone has the same outcome. So the tall guy doesn't need a crate. The medium height guy gets one, and the small guy gets two. The kid gets two, so they all see over the fence. And the latest demonstration of people wanting equality over equality is at Afro Music Festival that's supposed to be going on in Detroit, where they charge non-people of color $20 more because they assume because you are of this race over here, you must be able to afford more because that's how you could tell how rich somebody is apparently is by their looks.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or you could just be like, why am I doing the same thing that they do to us? Don't do that.
I will get into that more again on the convention one because that actually burned me more than once where I've been told I'm not allowed to talk on certain panels because of the way they look at me, not knowing anything about me.
You know the best thing?
I'll talk about that in another episode.
The best part of conversation or trying to make a speech or whatever is 100% open. That's the only way a conversation can possibly be like a successful conversation, in my opinion. You just have to be open to other people's point of view. Like, they might not be able to convince you about what they're saying, but you have to take in their point of view so you can get a better understanding on what you got to say to try to say, like, well, no, you're not convincing me because of this. Yeah. So,
and again, the reason why I'm going over this is because these are things people say in conversations, and you don't want to, if you're trying to communicate with them on a panel, because I see because this stuff is used really often at events, especially small events, because everyone has a political agenda. Speaking of political agenda, they may drop a red pill or drop a blue pill. Those are terms I'm seeing, and people saying it's like, okay, I don't mean to drop a blue pill here, and what they mean is dropping a blue pill mean they're going to give you liberal leaning information. Dropping a red pill means conservative leaning information. I do want to thank a friend of mine for suggesting that I include this in today's podcast. That goes to I'm going to say his name. I don't care. He don't care either. Christy Hahn. Christy Hahn reached. I mentioned I was doing this topic. He said you should include this, so I included it. And I think that's good because I have heard that people interject in the conversation like, well, you only think that way because you want to drop a red pill or you want to drop a blue pill.
I never heard the term before.
You're going to see it more. Well, you've heard of left-leaning media, right-leaning media, so it's kind of the same thing. I think if you pop both of them, you're in danger of becoming a libertarian, which I have no problem with libertarianism. Of course, if you look at the actual party, that's a whole different thing. But that's why that's why it's an interesting party, because people are allowed to have their independent thoughts. So you can't really, and there's been, whatever.
You can't dictate.
You take the best of
does.
Well, I mentioned that I do have more libertarian ideals, because I want the government, I don't think the government should dictate what's in my private life. So that is considered libertarian. So I take half a red pill and half a blue pill, the halves that I like.
So you saying I don't want the government listening to me, but it's okay for Batman to listen to me?
Well, Batman's a private entity and he shouldn't be able to listen to you. Just like one of the earlier episodes we had David Herndon, he mentioned his opinion that he doesn't believe a private citizen should own the land of a border crossing. he shouldn't. Private citizens should not own a border crossing. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't.
Well-
No, I agree with that. I don't think that should happen. Now, whether that's a red pill or a blue pill, I don't freaking know. But I think when it comes to individual citizens having too much power, I think that is. I think the government should have control over the border crossings.
Well, it's not that type of topic show
No, it's
today,
not.
so I'm not
No,
going to
it's
say
not.
nothing on it.
No, it's not. But I know you were making a joke, but that's the way I say it. That's still a private citizen interrupting my private life.
Cool.
So that's someone interrupting my
absolutely
private
is.
life.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is.
Yeah, stay off of my island. Now, there is a term, when I mention this, some people like to bring up libertarian socialists.
We talked about this earlier, but before you talked about it, I did not know. I just knew about just libertarian.
And it has been brought up in the show before, and I didn't want to talk about it at that time. So I just said, nope, we're not talking about that. It's an oxymoron. It cancels each other out. It's out. And I think everyone that's watching this knows what socialism is. I mean, quick definition of socialism. Socialism. Singing to myself. Socialism. Okay, so that is a really long article. Let me find a shorter one. Not looking at Wikipedia because those are very long articles too. The quick version is political or short version of socialism, a political or economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution, and exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. Policy or practice based on the political or economy theory of socialism. In the Marxist theory, a transitional social state between the overthrow of capitalism and the realization of communism. That is the definition of socialism. I know people have different definitions. That's from dictionary.com. You're welcome to not agree, but that's basically the foundation. Part of it, at least. Yeah. The basic of it is that everyone is controlled as a whole, and it's regulated by the community, and it is part of communism. Communism is a socialist structure, and so it's controlled by the government because you need because there's always going to be a government. So if it's by the community and the government's over the community, that's why people don't like socialism.
I got so much to say about the
I know it's hard, right?
But I'm like, wait, this is not that type of show. But I'm like,
how about I come on your show and I just sit there, drink coffee, and let loose?
Oh man!
No, I feel like I'm talking a lot. You are welcome to say something.
No, we going over words.
So
and all that
libertarian socialists, which I could not find two sites that agree with each other.
Wait, isn't that what it is though?
The only sites I found that agree with each other are the ones that say it makes no sense. Throw this theory away. Those are the only ones. What most of them say is that, so here's one that I thought was probably the better definition from Urban Dictionary. Why am I using Urban Dictionary as a source? So far, this is the best one because, of course, it's not on dictionary.com. And the Wikipedia one is nobody corrected it because it reads horribly. It'll probably be corrected by this time this comes up. I watch. Yeah, see, he's correcting it right now. Not an oxymoron. In fact, the term libertarian was first used by French anarcho-communists in 1857 to describe himself, an anarchist. The modern term libertarianism, echo freedoms, was originally called blah, blah, blah. Where are they trying to say what? A libertarian socialist would agree that society based on such huge disparities of wealth is unfree. If you wish to enter into employment, you must first take orders as with the liberal democracy. Libertarian socialists believe in volunteering association with economic democracy. This doesn't make sense. Democracy and socialism are not the same things either. Well, sort of. Democracy, as Benjamin Franklin put it, keep in mind, America is a representative republic, not a democracy. And as our founding fathers put it, democracy is two wolves and a sheep deciding what to have for dinner. That's what democracy is. We are in a representative republic. It's democracy means mob rule. And socialism does not, I guess
that's not
libertarian socialism wants mob rule, so they might as well just be a democratic, proponents, which again is not libertarian. Libertarian is for stay off my grass. This is my grass. Make no rules about my grass. That's what libertarianism is.
Yeah, and I see the point of views of libertarian a whole lot more than I'm a Democrat, or I ain't. Well, I'm not really neither one of them, but
it changes.
Exactly.
That's again the
they're
political.
both evil.
Yeah,
They're both evil.
yeah.
Even the people that's for you, they're evil.
There's problems with. We shouldn't be in a two-party system, but there's problems with the two-party system, and
But the going off the socialism thing, just the reality of it is that, well, that can never be because somebody within the group wants power.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. And as long
I
as
feel like it's another term that is to placate and try to turn people into a different belief system.
Well,
Because I've seen this. I've seen people go up to a podium in the middle of events, and they're talking about and the event is talking about a history of law, history of and dispelling certain myths. And then someone be like, "Well, I'm a libertarian socialist, and I believe we should." Like, well, hold up. That doesn't make sense because socialism means this, libertarian means this. You cannot advocate for a small government while you still want a controlling government, because you can't have a size of America and have it be purely democracy. The size of America cannot exist with everyone having one vote, and because I'm sorry, we don't have a meeting room big enough for this, and we don't trust, and I wouldn't trust a voting system for everything because there's going to be very much a lot of fraud. That's my belief, but that's beside the point.
It's most definitely fraud. I don't want to get into it, but I already read into it and also talked about it on Whatever Talk.
Yeah,
and the voting system is nowhere near what people think it is. We're not going to get on that, but this I think I just figured out why I offend people so much.
Oh, really? Tell us.
This is just,
why do I offend people?
Yeah, just a theory of mine just now is that because I laugh in their face when they say something that they believe is smart. You know what I'm saying?
Like if someone calls himself a libertarian socialist.
Exactly. I'm like, that's hilarious because you have no idea what neither one of those mean, do you? I'm not going to say that to your face, but I think that's why a lot of people get offended.
It's like an anarchist, because a lot of people compare libertarians to anarchists. Because anarchist is an actual form of government, which you could only do on a small scale, on a small community scale. At most, maybe statewide, but then we're getting into something else. But in theory, it would only work on a small scale.
Yeah. And that's where the offensive of you being offended comes when you get corrected that you on something that you believe all these years, but then somebody put the actual meaning of what you're trying to say. You'd be like, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, now I'm offended because that's right. That's basically what you're saying. That's why I say people don't understand why they're getting offended. Like, that's why I laugh at you, and that's why I don't get offended when people be like, or black people this, or people this, or I'm like, well, why are you expecting me to get offended? Because that doesn't apply to me. I always say this, and I always have said this. The people who get offended are the ones that are most guilty.
Right.
Because I didn't call you out on anything. I don't even know you to call you out. So I can only just put it in a general pot. So by you getting offended, you feel that I'm directly talking to you. I didn't even know your name was John until you just said it, John. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do want to say one more definition, because I did say I couldn't find any two definitions that matched for this.
Yeah,
so here's another definition. Libertarian socialism often rejects the state itself and asserts that social based on freedom and justice can be achieved through abolishing authoritarian institutions that control certain means of production and subordinate the majority as an owning class or political economic elite. Libertarian socialists advocate for decentralized structures based on direct democracy and federal. Or now, some of this stuff does relate to libertarianism, except for the fact that except for you cannot own your own means of production. The capitalism part. Libertarian manipulatism, citizens assembles, trade unions, and workers' councils, all generally done within general call for libertarian and voluntary human relations. All through identification. Okay, now I'm even lost. I don't even know what this means anymore. Because you're saying getting rid of a class, but then replacing it by unions, councils that control. But where's the government? The government comes, so they pretty much, I feel like they just described socialism, just saying that you want an anarchist government, but without.
This is what I got from it.
Okay, you explain this to me, because maybe you understand more.
I don't, but this is this is the best way I could come up. This is the best thing I could come up with. Out of all those socialite divisions you done made up, socialism divisions you done not made up, but just said. Only thing I got out of that was like, the person that identifies themselves as that is basically saying, I get your point of view and I get my point of view. I just don't know how to explain how I can get your point of view and your point of view.
I get this and I get this. And I want to merge them together
and I don't know.
In a litter sandwich where someone like Toad and Donnie are going to have to go through all this media and eat our media litter sandwich in a podcast and make all our brains hurt. Thank you. Good night. Where can we find Whatever Talk?
That's pretty much it. And you can find Whatever Talk on Podomatic, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio, on various other podcast apps, and YouTube as well. Got video versions of those and audio versions of those as well on YouTube. They're old shows. I've been on hiatus for quite some time now, but I'm working on and revamping the show to something new. Hey, you might even see me here soon. I just got me some information on this. You might see me here soon. So
Foundation Studio is beautiful, and I'd welcome you as a studio brother, although not at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So be sure to go listen to Whatever Talk. Go Google it. Whatever Talk. That's what it is. It's spelled the way it's supposed to be spelled. Whatever is one word. Talk. So also check out the spin-off shows I got. Whatever Talk Anime, Whatever Talk Gaming, Top 5, Talking to Myself. I got like quite a handful of spin-offs.
I should do like a Whatever Talk to Myself, which the show is kind of like, except for just one endless rant that no one else can follow, which was a lot like today's episode, I think.
No, it wasn't. No, I'm listening. But yeah, that's basically, I'm just making a play off the word Whatever Talk. So Whatever Talking to Myself. Basically, it's every video you see on YouTube that's a person talking. Yeah, you just talk. It's just that one person spitting out news about something. Yeah. So yeah,
and Whatever Talk, you do have co-hosts, so it's not just one person.
Yes, it's not me. It's me and at least two other, well, me and another person, but most of the time it's me and two other people or more. So yeah, come through, go listen to it. Anybody could be on the show. Anybody. I don't care who it is. I'm looking for anybody who's racist. I want them to be on the show. Like, I want to talk to the racists. Like, I want to talk to the people like we just talked about, because I don't think they ever came across somebody who's open-minded, which is why they're the way they are. It was like, so yeah, come through. We make fun of, my tagline is Whatever Talk, where we make fun of reality. Nothing's exempt from being made fun of in my world.
Okay. And Media Libertarians can find that all of those outlets he mentioned, except for iHeartRadio. We're not on there. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But we're on all the other ones. We're on Spotify. We're on Podbean. We're on YouTube. You can always just go to the website, Media Layer Sandwich. Or if you want to be the first person to listen, or you want to listen to the newest episode, it's always dvradio.net at 7 o'clock p.m. And you can be in the chat room with me listening to the newest episode. If not, it's out the following Monday. And we always welcome, and I always welcome communication. If you found this helpful or you laughed at whatever we talked about, yeah, use that on purpose. No, I didn't. Whatever. Go ahead and share this. That's the best way to show support is sharing, subscribing, following us, talking to us, whether it's on Podbean or YouTube. I'm going to tell you, I respond more on YouTube. It's the easiest way for me to respond. Or the Facebook group on Media Layer Sandwich. You can always find our groups on Facebook, Media Layer Sandwich group, or a page, or the Toaden page, or I don't know, whatever. But hey, please communicate. Please follow. Please like. If you like the show, if you think someone else could kick out of this, go ahead and share it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed our discussion. I did not drink enough coffee. I'm totally not woke enough for this. And may the algorithms be in your favor.
Toodaloo.